Let's talk about Daonte. He ended up going live and addressing him and Addie's breakup. He really didn't go into details about Addie or this guy that she's with now, but he did reveal some other things. Apparently, his son, DJ, is currently staying at his or Addie's grandmother's house in South Carolina. And the baby's all the way in South Carolina, and Deonte's back in Virginia. I guess Addie moved to South Carolina, and I guess they've been living apart for a few months now. But he ended up going live, and he did reveal a few things, like he's been going to therapy. He did speak on the Nicolle situation, and he just kind of talked about some things he's been going through.
Where's your son? So you used to see him with you. He's with his grandparents right now. Uh, yeah, he's good. He's doing good. So I just got out of a pretty decent therapy session. So for those of y'all that don't know that support or that do support therapy, it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. So it helps you out a lot. He's with his grandparents right now.
Apparently, she's living in South Carolina. The baby's with the grandparents in South Carolina, and that's going to be hard for him to see the baby, even if they come to some kind of custody agreement. Like, it's not like he can just go up there on weekends and take the baby. I mean, he could, but it's going to be expensive as hell. But I'm glad he's getting therapy. Deontay does admit that he was talking to other women, but he's trying to claim that's the farthest it went. But he did say he pulled up on Nicole, I think like 4 or 5 times. I can't remember how many times he claims, but he did pull up on her multiple times, but he claims he would just pull up on her, smoke, and then dip out.
I did have a period of time where, yeah, that just was always my go-to. I always knew I had the DMs there. So whenever I would get upset, frustrated at something, yeah, sometimes I would venture in there and start chit-chatting and get friendly and sometimes get a little bit flirty,
Hang on, we
which
gotta
is
run that
trifling.
back. Where's he?
What exactly is happening here? Well, why don't you sit back and listen, Rochelle? Can y'all hear me? So anyways, accountability do need to be taken on my end. So what I mean by that is there were times, a certain period of times with me, throughout that relationship where, I would get extremely trifling and go up in my DMs and chit chat. It would be there would be times where I would get extremely frustrated, which I'm not gonna go into detail about what I would get frustrated with or whatever was going on. I'm just gonna talk about my part. So yeah, when that stuff was happening, I did have a period of time where yeah, that just was always my go-to. I always knew I had the DMs there. So whenever I would get upset, frustrated at something, yeah, sometimes I would venture in there
Hmm, that's not good.
and start chit-chatting and get friendly and sometimes get a little bit flirty, which is trifling as hell and there ain't no excuse for that. So I ain't got no choice but to take accountability for that. But that's about as far as to the extent I would go. I never knew none of these people like that. Probably would never meet them like that. Just, you know, it's just something I would do sometimes when I got frustrated and then move on about my business. But the one thing, the most trifling thing I did do, which people keep on seeming to come at me about now, which again, I got to take accountability for. Like I said, I would get frustrated with a whole lot of things throughout the whole thing, pregnancy and everything. I'm not going to say what, because it really ain't nobody's business, but it just used to be a bunch of things that was happening. So I was a door dasher. Okay. So I used to door dash sometimes. And every so often, I would say about 5 times maybe, at the end of my dash, I would venture and take a detour for about 20 minutes or so. And yes, I would go and hang out with my ex-girlfriend Nicolle. As trifling as that
Oh,
was,
hell no. Daonte has always been more comfortable with what is familiar to him, and Nicole's familiar to him. But the thing is, Nicole's your ex girlfriend. You don't want to go run into your ex girlfriend to vent about your relationship with your new girlfriend.
yes, I used to go do that. But all I was at the end of my dash, I would venture and take a detour for about 20 minutes or so. And yes, I would go and hang out with my ex-girlfriend Nicolle. As trifling as that was, yes, I used to go do that. But all I would go do is vent. That's it. There's no excuse for it. Reason being is because it got to a point with me where I felt like I didn't have a whole lot of friends up here. I felt like all my friends had done either distanced themselves from me or just did away with me. My friend Derek had moved to Florida, so she was literally the only person here that I knew here that I was comfortable enough to go vent to. Because at that time we wasn't on that type of time, that sexual type shit.
Oh, why do you gotta pull up and vent to her? Just vent to her on the phone. Pull over. I mean, don't do that. Why am I saying that? But I'm like, why do you have to actually pull up? It's like, because if any girl always like to cheat and do something, they always want to downplay and be like, oh no, I was just talking to him. I was just hanging out. That's just the homie. So you have to understand, like, if you're in, like, from a girl's point of view, if you're hearing from a guy, oh yeah, I went to my ex girlfriend's house, but I just vented. Yeah, I would definitely be questioning.
I hadn't touched her since 2023. So at this time, we was just, that's it. There's no excuse for it. Reason being is because it got to a point with me where I felt like I didn't have a whole lot of friends up here. I felt like all my friends had done either distanced themselves from me or just did away with me. My friend Derek had moved to Florida, so she was literally the only person here that I knew here that I was comfortable enough to go vent to. Because at that time we wasn't on that type of time, that sexual type shit. I hadn't touched her since 2023. So at this time, we was just on this type of deal where it's almost like we was trauma bonding because she just would vent to me, and in return, I would vent to her for about 20 minutes or so, and I'd sit outside in her backyard with her and blaze up, and her stepdad would come out there and sit next to me right in the middle of us and give me a little bit of advice about certain things, and then I would go on about my business. So even it's still in dope. I mean, what am I trying to say here? Still in all, that's still trifling shit. It don't matter why I was going over there or because I needed somebody to talk to or whatever. It was still trifling. And I've never been able to live that down to this day. Okay? Because once that got found out, I ain't never been able to live it down. And that was, 9, 10 months ago, maybe so. And then every time something else pops up, that always got brought up. So I understand it. It's very understandable. But I did get to a point where, okay, you once that has happened and it's been discovered that has happened and you've decided to stay, at some point in time, you got to let it go. But, it's understandable why. It's understandable why there's certain shit that I would just never let go, which I ain't gonna really, again, get to, but, But I always can take accountability when accountability is need to be taken. So yeah, I had to take accountability for that because yeah, I did get trifling and go vent. No matter what you're going through, the last thing you should ever go do as a man is go and vent to another woman, especially your ex,
Yeah.
about what you got going on personally. I just wasn't thinking and felt like I didn't have nobody else. And we always I guess it's because we walked into television together and get scrutinized still to this day. It was easier to open up and relate. You understand what I'm saying? Who is this person talking about some? Hold on. Can I block you? Let me see. I sure can. Bye.
I wonder if he's going to get back with Addie because he's really not saying anything bad about Addie at all.
But that was pretty much to the extent of it. But you know, all it was a lot. It's just a lot. But you know, it got to a point where again, something just happened and things are the way they are now. So I ain't gonna get too much into detail with it, but it just is what it is. But hey, man, therapy does wonders. And again, I probably shouldn't have had just a complete impulsive reaction that I had, but I mean, anybody would have, which is why I quickly took it all down because I try not to entertain too much of this stuff no more. See, that's the thing. These people in these Facebook groups and Reddit, they swear up and down, I love this stuff. They be swearing up and down, I want their attention and all that. I swear I got a love-hate relationship with these folks. Somebody said I need a drink. I got some Kool-Aid. People thought this was alcohol on my TikTok. I'm like, this some Kool-Aid. I don't drink. But I swear, it was like I was telling them on my TikTok. I can be prominent on social media like I used to be and be up here all the time. Or I can disappear and go on my little sabbatical. And I still see about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 posts about me. And these people like, he won't go away and this and this. And I just be.
Okay, and then he kind of talks about like going through some hard times. Let me fast forward to this part.
But I've been appreciative to. I was telling this story on my TikTok live. I've been a lot more appreciative of little things. Like I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. A lot of y'all probably already know or speculate stuff. But it's been kind of rough for me personally for the past 3.5, going on 4 years now. For real, for real. I do my best to keep on the face when I'm on social media. I do my best to mask certain things. But truth be told, I've been down bad for quite a while. You understand? Also, are you a Pisces? No, I'm an Aries. I've been down bad for quite a while. You know, a lot of things have happened to me over the years. I let a lot of people come in my circle and mess up certain things for me. I messed up a lot of things for myself. So I've been down for quite a while. And so that's why I say I ain't nobody's victim because I allow people to come into my circle. And, you know, when the next shiny new toy come along, well, that was more appealing as, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm getting at here. But like I said, I've been down bad for quite a while. I just don't really say much about it, but my car been down for a while, transmission and everything. So I kind of just been getting around however I can get around, right? So I utilize that app Turo app a lot. So I guess I have been renting from the same guy for quite a while. Matter of fact, I know that because I was always going to his house to pick up whatever vehicle. So the other day, I turned in my vehicle from him. And usually I just get on out the car and go on about my business. So no, I haven't given up on assistance. Right? So as I was getting out of the car, he walked up to the car and he was like, yo, because he was like, you can park in the driveway. And I was like, oh, my bad. But he was like, you good right here. So he said, yeah, I just wanted to approach you, man, because I noticed you rent from me a lot. So you seem like a pretty humble guy. And I was like, oh, I ain't even noticed, man, but I appreciate you. I said, yeah, you be helping me out a lot these days, you know? So he was like, that's what's up, man. And then he was like, so you got an Uber you waiting on? And I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I'll make no excuses. It is what it is. I didn't have enough at that particular point in time for Uber. I had spent the last of what I had to put gas in that car. So I'm the type of person, man, I do what I gotta do. I don't ask for no sympathy. I don't ask for nobody to feel sorry for me. And I don't like asking people for stuff. Call it pride, whatever it is. But if I can't get it nowhere else, it ain't nothing wrong with my feet. I walk. So that's what I was getting ready to do. It done been plenty of times here lately that I done walked to and from my job where I work at. That's about 15 miles from where I'm at. So it was one night I left my house at midnight and got to work at 4 o'clock in the morning. It took me 4 hours. It was cold as shit, but I did it. And I don't know, to me, as a man, it helped. It made me feel so just invincible. Like I can do this no matter how hard it is, I could do it. And being in the Marine Corps helped out a lot with that because it was like hiking with, it was like humping with all that gear, just without the gear. So I told the brother, yeah, man, I'm just gonna walk. And he asked me where I lived at. And I told him, he was like, you gonna walk all the way down there? I was like, I ain't got a choice, man. And he's way downtown Newport News, and I'm way on the other side, but I was still gonna do it. And he was like, no, man, you wanna ride? And I was like, nah, man, you don't know me like that. It's cool. He was like, no, it's cool, bro. Like you, I wouldn't turn down no ride if I was you, man. He was like, it's cool. Jump on in the car. So I got in the car with him and we rode and I just opened up to him. I told him who I was. He was hella shocked because his girlfriend watched the show. So he was hella shocked and asked could he take a picture with me or whatever. And then I just, I told him, a little bit about what I had going on. And I was like, listen, man, I was like, I ain't gonna lie, this kind of a hard fall from grace for me, to be honest with you. And he was like, what you mean? I was like, just looking back at, a few years ago, I told him when I was on television, I was white hot. I was like, I kind of was on top of the world. I said I was getting hella scrutinized. I said I still get hella scrutinized to this day. That ain't never went nowhere. But I said I was on top of the world, man. And so for the people that know me and know how I was or how I, seem to always be on social media, if they was to see me like this in this situation, I said it's a hard fall, brother. And then he said something that I forgot exactly what it was, but it really got to me. He was like, so let me ask you this, man. What's stopping your potential or something? I forgot exactly how he said it, but it really got to me. He was just like, you a humble dude, man, just from talking to you and this and this. And then he was like, if you ever come to get another vehicle again, man, you can come on in the house, man. You smoke? I said, yeah, I smoke. He was like, you come on in, man. We can, get right. I got some people, man. You seem like you need some people because you said you seem like a loner. And I said, yeah, that's because I am. And it made me feel real good in that moment because I did feel like I lost a lot of my friends. Like I did feel isolated and all that. So I was like, I might take the brother up on that. So when he dropped me off, all I could say is, all I could say was look at God. I ain't said that in a long time, but I was like, dang, look at God, because he ain't have to do that. That man ain't have to do that. And I really didn't feel like walking that day. I was exhausted. So the fact that he came through like that, yeah, man, I was like, look at God. And little by little things been happening. Very little, but just been happening that it just make you say, look at God. So that's what it is, you got to be appreciative of the little things. Where's your brother? The longest walk I walked was 2 hours, 4 hours round trip. No, bro, that's a 4 hour walk for me. I got a time if I got it.
I couldn't imagine having to walk that long. I couldn't imagine having to walk 4 hours before work and then having to work a full shift. Oh my god, my legs would be killing me. Like after a good, I don't know, I can like run a lot of miles on the treadmill, but after a good walking like over 2, 3 miles, my feet start getting blisters.
How's your mama doing? She a real one. Yeah, my mama doing good, man. That's another one of them relationships that's always been kind of rocky for me and my mama. But one thing I will say about my mom is she always do seem to be in my corner, even though whether we bumping heads or not. I'll get the 60 days in, but since I'm on my mom, yeah. So yeah, but she's doing all right. She doing all right. But what I was saying was, if you have ever seen 60 Days In, my friend Jacqueline did a season on there. I think she was on like season 3 or whatnot. And then she did Naked and Afraid. So she be messaging me all the time, telling me what shows are having casting calls. Because she keep trying to get me back out there. So I just haven't utilized none of them. But I looked at one of them the other day that she sent me. It was called Squid Games or something like that. I don't know. But then I went to go. It was already done casting. So what you say, Shawnee? Maybe it was.
I think I read something about that, and I think it's like only one person ends up winning, and the rest of the people don't make anything unless you go like on the Mr. Beast games or something. But the actual Squid Games, I'm pretty sure because I was talking about this and I decided to look into it. Only the winner gets paid, and that's the thing. Like, I would not want to go and have to take off work for weeks, and then you don't win, and then you just are out of money and you didn't get anything out of it.
The reason I didn't get on the show. Them treating you like that, talking to you crazy. I'm not having it. Yeah. I mean, they probably would have been talking about you. Well, no, you would have only been on one episode. So his grandparents spoiled the hell out of him, especially his grandmama. So I got some stories to tell. I had y'all cracking up in this mug. That's why I'm like, bro, if I write a book, that mug would be a bestseller just because it's me. I got so many stories to tell from just my childhood, my teenage years, from the Marine Corps, from when I was a security officer all the way up to going on TV, everything in between, all the heartbreak I done dealt with, all of it. So my son doing good. He with his grandparents. His grandparents spoiled the hell out of him, especially his grandmama. So I appreciate her for that. Yeah, he doing pretty well. I miss him. I always miss him when I don't see him. I guess that's why sometimes I be looking sad in the face when he ain't with me. I'm used to him being with me.
Well, it has to be hard being around your kid like every single day and then just going to them living in another state. Oh my god. Oh. It's like 1 in the morning. I'm filming this video. But I'm gonna get off here, guys. That's pretty much it. Like I said, he didn't really say anything about Addie. He's still like, I guess, I don't know. He just took responsibility for what he did. So you guys let me know what you think.